Welcome back to the channel. I'm Peter Mo, creator Dallas-based DP and Gaffer, and in today's video, it's hot. It's Texas hot. It's a scorcher. It's still summer here, but that does bring up a good point. When you've got all this light hitting either your subject or whatever you're filming, you need to cut some of that light. So I'm really thankful that NiSi sent me out this JetMag Pro kit. And what's really cool about this, it's called a creator combo or creator kit, and it has a lot of cool features. Now, one of the coolest things is the variable ND filter also acts like a polarizer. And you may know when you have a variable ND filter that you'll get polarization that happens that you may or may not want, but they have a really cool trick up their sleeve. So stick around to the end so I can show you what that's all about. Before I dive into the details on this JetMag Pro kit, I want to give a huge disclaimer. I'm not just a YouTuber. I actually shoot for a living. So I really wanted to put the variable ND filter to the test. When you have a variable ND filter that's bad, it's really bad. And when they're good, they're really good. So I met up with a fellow filmmaker, Vicente, who you see in this video here, and we went to the lake at golden hour. We were shooting some insert shots for a documentary he's working on, and the results were amazing. And then I went out on an overcast day because it's not always sunny, and I was able to capture some road workers doing some construction nearby. I topped it all off, golden hour at the dog park. Who doesn't love some puppies? Now, what do I think of the results? This filter performs well. It's real easy to use, it's smooth, and the picture quality is amazing. Starting out in photo and video, a lot of people make the mistake of going with a low quality filter. They spend big money on the camera, they spend big money on the lenses, they're out of money and they're like, you know what? A cheap filter on the front, variable ND, it'll do the trick. It doesn't work that way. What happens is you degrade the quality of your lens and your camera by putting something that's low quality in front of it. Now, NiSi is a known brand of cinema lenses, and they bring that quality into their filters, and that's why these stand out above others. What's really great about this system too is it's designed to be slim. They don't want it bulky. They expect you to stack filters on filters, and that's one of the cool features of these is you're able to stack on stuff without losing quality, but also have the ability to add or remove filtration as needed in steps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with this variable ND filter, and I want to show you a really cool trick. So normal variable ND filters, the way that they're designed is it's like two polarizing filters that are crossing each other, giving you that ND effect. What that also does is it polarizes your image, and it may polarize it in a way that you may not like. So I'm taking this filter and I'm going to add it to the lens, and what's really cool is you have very strong magnets that just click in and hold it in place, but not too strong where you can't remove it. Now, they do have a locking feature, so if you notice these knobs or little things that protrude out, what you do is you line it up exactly where there's a marker, and with that, now it is stuck and it won't be removed. To remove it, you just rotate it out of that and it pops right off. So it's real easy to add or remove. Once you're in that position, you do the same thing to keep adding filters. And when you want them to all stay on and not remove, you line up all these notches and that keeps them in place. Now what's also cool is they color code them. So now you could start memorizing the color coding system and know that my variable ND filter has this color, my polarizer may have this color, my regular ND has this, and that makes it a lot better because instead of looking for a small bit of writing somewhere, you could just look at it, recognize that color, and move quickly. So their pouch comes with a lot of options, and right now I've added this ND filter and I'm going to adjust it on the camera to get it where I feel it's good. It may not be perfect, it is bright out here, but we'll see what we have going on. Now, what's really cool about it is normally you screw on the filter and it stays there, and you don't have any option to adjust the polarization. But what this system can do is I could take the whole filter and actually spin it around. And if you look right now, I'm going to cut to this camera, you can see right here, you can't see through the windshield. There's a reflection there, there's a glare. But now if I rotate this around, I'll be able to reveal the inside of the vehicle without changing the exposure on me, because if I adjust the exposure, that doesn't change the polarization to what I want it. It could go all over the place. So now I have an ND filter that's on the lens and it's a polarizer, which is a game changer. There's so many times I'm like, man, I could really use a polarizer right now to see through a windshield. And now I have the ability to have an ND filter combined with a polarizer and use the polarizing function of it. So what's included in the NiSi JetMag Pro Creator Kit? Let me go through it. You get an ND filter that's 1 to 5 stops. You get an ND 16. You also get a black mist that's a 1/8. You get a 82, 77, 72, and 67 millimeter ring to attach to your lens. And then you get a back cap and a front cap and an awesome little case like this. These are really great to stack, and they are designed to be stacked. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to take an ND 16 and I'm going to apply it to the lens. I'm going to click it into place and I'm going to rotate it to where it locks on to the mark. So if you have the adapter rings, you'll notice there are 2 little marks on the adapter rings that are little white lines, and I'll show the camera that. And those white lines are where the locking portion locks up. So if you line up your little protruding point onto that, it stays on. If you pull it away from that, it pops off. Off, lock it into place, and it stays. So now I'm going to apply a black mist as well, because why not? I'm gonna apply it, get it lined up, and it's locked into place. And then I'm gonna take my variable ND filter and put it on, go in, and then I'm going to lock it in place too. Now when I say lock, it's just aligning it. It doesn't actually click to lock in place. So it still gives you the ability to quickly add or remove anything or rotate anything to your needs. So now the only thing that I'm moving is the variable ND filter. What's really cool about the stacking design is you could stack to your heart's content. Now with just one filter, they're designed to go on lenses as wide as 15 millimeters. So that gives you a huge field of view, so you don't have any vignetting in the edges. Now I have a stack of filters here and the front cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply it to the lens, and then I'm going to lock it in place. Now I could just remove that front filter cap right off. It's real simple and everything stays in place. Now when I reapply it, this is another cool feature. You remove everything and then you're going to apply the rear cap to all of it, and now you have a clean filter stack that's not going to get any dust on it, and it's easy to just tuck away in your pocket or somewhere else. So that makes it a lot easier. And then you could just remove a single filter that you want. So, oh, I don't want that 16 ND. I just twist it around, I remove that filter, and then I pop this cap back on and they're protected again, and this can go right on to the camera. A lot of us shooters have multiple lenses and multiple cameras, and moving an ND filter from one to another, unscrewing it and rescrewing it, first of all, that puts wear and tear on the lens. And unfortunately, a lot of my Sony lenses have plastic threads on the front, and if you thread it wrong in a hurry, you will damage that filter thread and it will cause a lot of problems for you. Now with this system, you have your rings, you apply them to whatever lens you need, and then you just pop things off and click them into place, and you can move them between lenses. So if I'm shooting on one lens and I need to swap it, swapping that filter is a lot quicker. It's actually a lot quicker than even using a matte box to swap things out. You just unclick and move it over. So what do I think of the NiSi JetMag Pro system overall? Well, I really like it. I'm actually going to order a second variable ND filter so I could have it on both cameras when I do interviews, so I can have that matching footage. Now, there are a few things that are kind of quirks that you just have to adapt to and learn because this is a new system. One of them is with the very slim, low profile, you have to be careful not to let your fat fingers slip in and actually touch the glass. So I've had that happen and I've dirtied up the glass. So I have to remember that it's a very thin profile. Now, another thing that you have to kind of pay attention to is when you use the variable ND filter, since it does rotate and it is magnetic and it can spin around like when we did the polarizing function, you could get out of the lock mode easily. So when you hit your stop, don't push too hard. You have to just lightly turn this and it will be great. Now, if you push it too far, it's going to spin around. And what does that open up opportunity for? Now, if you have this here and it catches on something, it could disconnect it. So you just gotta be really careful and pay attention to that. Now, if this ends up on the bottom, you could actually disconnect it and there's a hole 180 degrees opposite of it. So that fixes that issue from bumping that from the bottom. Let me get that screwed in. There it is. Or you could totally remove that if you don't like using that little knob that's on there. But those are the two things that really stood out. Aside from that, I really like the system and I'm going to invest in the system because of the color fidelity, just the thin profile. It makes it easy. And when I'm in those situations where I'm going from being outdoors like I am right now, and then we're like, run inside, instead of unscrewing the filter, I can just pop it off real quick. It's that simple. I want to give a big shout out to everyone that subscribes to the channel. If you're not subscribed, but you like this type of content, give us a sub. And as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.